So the first thing you do when you come into a paddock is to look under the fence line. Have the cattle grazed under the fence line? Have they come right across? Have they lain on their side? It's an indication of, is there enough food? Plenty of food, pretty well stopped on the fence line. The only reason they've come across a bit is because of the smell on that side, and you can see it if you look at what has happened. The percentage that has dropped down, what's been trodden on the ground, is pretty good. But again, you're not putting that much carbon down that you're improving the soil dramatically. So as we walked into the pasture, you can feel under your feet, is it like walking on a mattress?
No.
Not quite, but there is some give, so it's pretty good. The carbon is there, it could be better. And please guys, I'm not being critical, I'm just telling you what I feel and what I see. We go back onto this side and we look at the general graze. Most plants have had 2 bites off it. Okay? So in actual fact, you've lost animal performance on this side because you forced the second bite. It would have been better if you could was taken 1 bite, and that formula I gave you should enable you to do that. Take 1 bite and add densities that the rest is trodden down like it is here, so it might have been half the time. How long were the cattle in here?
Well, I would say this was too tight as well. So I let them into there this morning because I was just taking in what you said yesterday.
Okay.
So if we go down there, you'll see this was so 1 day here, mainly because of things with the workshop and everything. So I've moved them, so then they went into there this morning, and then they've gone into here at about 12 o'clock.
Okay.
And then, because I want to play around with what you're talking about, I'm going to put them in there tonight, and
Okay.
then just to see what sort of impact it has.
So certainly in terms of putting down, this is good. I like what I see there. And please, I'm not being critical. And again, we walk through this side and you could identify the plants that they had the most energy because they've already had a bite off them. We look at the cattle, we look at the left-hand side, not the right-hand side, the left-hand side, they are full. Look at the body language. The cattle are happy. Their heads are right, the ears are right, the shine in the eyes are right. You couldn't ask for better. The only thing I can comment on, there's a shortage of copper there because of the slight red tinge on the coats. Not serious. Remember, the copper, the mineral, is the fine tuning of the carburetor. The shine on the coats of the animals, you couldn't ask for better. So, conclusion, being grazed, planned, pretty good. Good stuff, well done. We could improve the litter on the ground if we wanted to. And that would mean a higher density, but again, faster moves, which has other implications still.
So you shorten the time up, keep the densities.
So just promote the bacteria, have the energy, protein at a balance.
So you need some protein, no more than 12%, and you need 6.7% of the total ration to be energy. The oxygen is a constant, 40.5%. Peter. So we look at these cattle and we say, okay, the dung is a bit loose, so what is happening here?
High protein.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad because they're still grazing on the top. Here they grazed a bit down, but it's not directly related to that. We might be a bit short of oxygen. So how do we get oxygen into an animal? Remember, oxygen, hydrogen, protein. 2 pounds a day, that's what we require, I beg your pardon, 2 kgs a day. We want 40.5% oxygen, 6.7% hydrogen, and 12% protein. If we achieve that, the animal will gain 2 kgs a day. So here I reckon we're a bit short of oxygen. So if you put down a bale of dry hay in here, they would all be standing around the hay and eating hay to get their oxygen up to 40.5% to burn the hydrogen and the protein. Remember, combustion engine, we need oxygen, If you have put a rag in a air intake in a combustion engine, it does not run properly. Look at the dung, it's not running properly. Does everybody understand what I'm taking? I have simplified the process. Thank you. And please remember, I'm not being critical, I'm just telling you what I see. But in actual fact, you've done well, because your litter, you can feel the carbon in the soil when you walk across it. Sorry?
I was just going to ask, after Ian's course, would you be thinking about running a shorter rotation on this sort of feed at this time of the year?
If you just wander up here, so this is basically 24 hours, this block here. And if you have a look up there, it's like a 12-hour.
12-hour graze up through the
Oh,
trees
not
there on
even,
the
it's
hill?
not even a 12-hour graze, it's about a 6-hour graze. So if we wander up, just to...
Did all of you feel a difference walking down here the minute you cross that line? This is more like a mattress. Good. Higher density, shorter duration, improved grazing, better results in the future. Yeah. So what's happened here is better than there, not that that's bad. Again, somebody said to me, if my pasture has gone to seed and it's all roughage, what I do, you need to feed some form of protein, so it's cotton oil cake, soybean oil cake, palm kernel oil cake, or whatever has a cake in it. The oil has been extracted. That is high in protein. It's probably knocking around about 28-32% protein. You need to reduce that with some energy, so you pour vegetable oil back into that. Oil is pure hydrogen. You need very little, but you'll have to control the intake by putting it out more often than once a day. Any questions?
So how much per cow will they often eat if you've got quite a lot of roughage? How much would that one cow probably eat a day?
Probably about 300 grams a day per cow.
I have a question, Ian. So how come taking the residual down lower doesn't provide the extra hydrogen?
No, because that is not brown, it's not oxygen. Brown has got oxygen. Hey, molasses is not energy. Molasses is oxygen and other minerals. Do not feed pure molasses. Your cattle will lose condition. So instead of putting out bales like you put, like I said there, you could make a mixture of palm kernel oil cake, a bit of vegetable oil, and a bit of molasses, and you've almost got a perfect balance. Watch the animals. Look at what's happening. Body language will tell. Do not get bluffed. When they see you, they run towards you because it is nice and they know it's helping them. Don't let them eat you into the grave. Bankruptcy.
So the other option, if you haven't got all those things to add to the mix, if you run the cattle through the paddock and treat it like a laneway, you just get the trample down.
So you could do that. You go back to that calculation and you say my calculation for this particular paddock has said 2 days, cut it down to 1 day, increase the density, move them more often, check the result. You felt the difference from there to here, that's what you're looking for under your feet. You want to achieve more trample with dry grass to graze. You're looking at grazing 10 to 20% and trampling the rest. The result, the next graze, will be totally different. It's as if you've come with a fertilizer truck and put it down, and it'll be all natural.
What is a good energy supplement? If you want to supplement energy, what sort of product do you give them?
Well, I've just suggested to you that you use vegetable oil, but very little.
Yeah.
You could use some corn, but corn has got protein in it as well. Okay, so you've got to be a bit careful. You know, it's very difficult for me to give you a ration because, again, it's a recipe and all recipes fail because I'm not looking at the result with your grasses. And I'd rather you fiddled with it and found out what works for you. But you can go on to Free Choice Enterprises website and they've got a listing of a whole lot of products and what their protein content is and energy content and oxygen. And you can actually work out your own ration. Taking into consideration that an animal is taking in 2.5% of its body weight as roughage, and then you're trickling in this small amount to stimulate the rumen to deal with that roughage.
Generally, we've got high protein. We are the other one who don't need to provide energy, protein, provide energy.
So if you need to supply energy, you maybe take some corn, milled corn, and you add a bit of oil to that, and you watch your animals, monitor what's going on.
Can I just add that in New Zealand's climate, as a farmer, you should never have an energy deficit in our pasture because we always have enough moisture pretty much. So lots of these plants.
Careful, careful. It's not moisture. The energy part comes from the sun. So if you go back that side, you look at some of the dung has got some white on the top. It looks as though you spread talcum powder there. That's a bit of ketosis because the energy is coming from the cow to supplement the rumen, and that's what shows up as a ketosis. I didn't really want to speak about it because it's so small. It's not an issue really there. But some of your paddocks on the other side of the farm are totally white. And that was grazed early because you hadn't had enough sunlight and there wasn't enough energy in the pasture yet, so you get ketosis for that length of time. It's got nothing to do with water, eh?
But it's got a lot to do with being green, though, doesn't it?
Green and sunlight.
Green and sunlight, yeah.
So photosynthesis,
Yeah.
carbohydrate.
What's the return period? Last time we grazed first was when, what was it, just before our open day, so it was around the 10th of October.
So it's about a month.
About a month, yeah.
Big difference in a month.
So if we wander over just to the other side of the track, you'll see we ran the dairy cows into it, and it was like this, and the same mix. When was this sold? Quite a while ago.
Oh, yeah, a long time ago, more than 6 years.
And so this is kind of the most diverse pasture on the farm in terms of seeded pasture. Everything else is pretty much permanent pasture.
How old is this one?
Maybe 10 years.
But yeah, the performance on the other side of the track is probably twice of this. So if we have a look at that.
Yesterday evening when we drove past here, we spoke about it, Greg and I. The body language of the animals on this side was not the same as the body language of the animals on the other side. But this is good, eh? You guys have done that?
Insane.
Yeah.
So when they came into this one with being as high as they said it was, would have been better to have kept really short and fast rotations. To
Look,
keep the
when I
density,
talk
keep the
about
tremble.
these sort of things, I talk about the ideal, preferably coming with high density.
Yep.
Knock more down than you graze. So again, graze 20%, put down the rest, and immediately the next graze would be in the dark green. Leaves would be broader, capturing more energy. So in terms of wastage, nothing is wasted. The Americans love saying, oh, we can't afford to waste that. You're not wasting. And one of the dairy farmers who I work with came up with a saying. He said, I now buy hay to fix my soil. What the cattle eat is incidental. So he's put bales of hay down as fertility, and in 4 years he changed his whole property. He used to run 50 odd cows. He's now running 5 times that with other people's cattle, and he's getting on a bit, and the people who brought cattle onto the property do the milking. So it's a win-win situation. And he's done it just with carbon.
If you want to have another look at another grazing regime, we can just scoot down here because I had the dairy heifers just in there yesterday. If we wander over to the gate, you'll be able to, the heifers will come over and say hello, no doubt. These just had just shy of 100 animals in it. They had about 2/3 of the flock.
So yeah, no.
Daily weight gain contract. I think we did just over a kilo last time. So they're not doing exceptionally amazingly well, but we did have quite a cold spring. So it'll be interesting. We're going to weigh them again next week, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done. And we had a couple of sick ones, and also the bulls, when they weighed them, the bulls had lost weight. So it sort of takes your average down a little bit. But so they were in here for 24 hours, and then I moved them into here this morning. So that, yeah, they're on 24-hour breaks. But now we'll probably, now that Sam's here, and just the way it is, we'll probably go down to 12-hour breaks, maybe even play around with 3 shifts a day. I'll agree on holiday.
Fine by me.
But like these things here, to me, are super, super healthy. Like you just see how shiny they are. If I call them, they'll probably come over. But for me, this is what it's all about, to see really healthy animals in a field, and they're super relaxed. They're pretty well fed. A lot of them were sitting down. So that's what I'm kind of aiming for.
I only came along and go, well, what else can you do?
Good.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think it's cool.
Shiny.
What is different from these to those cattle we've just seen?
No copper
Very
deficiency.
shiny.
But these ones haven't had any copper or anything, so it's an odd one.
Apart from what we give them in the mineral mix.
Yeah, but still, they're pretty much getting the same
Everyone's
diet as the others.
like, coat coming off. See that? Is that extra? No, you don't.
Oh.
It's one foot coming off. Number 8, who sees